both Andrew and Nate today here. What's up, guys?
Howdy.
Getting charts on Tuesdays.
Oh, wow.
Yes, sir. Special.
Take
I think I'll be here on Friday. So.
Most of you thought it was Taco Tuesday today. It's actually TA Tuesday today.
Taco Tuesday. 2 for 1, baby.
Yeah, Andrew and I are going to be at a conference this Friday, so probably won't be able to hop on here and do the video. So thanks, man, for popping on here today to give us a look at what's going on in the markets.
We're going to zero.
Oh. Knew it.
No.
Somebody went to zero last week, and he's back with another $100 million. We're going to take a look at that a little bit later.
Yeah, I don't know how much money that guy has, but holy crap. Ran it up to like 100 mil. Went like minus 13 mil. And now he's back again. That's
taking donations.
That's a dedicated gambler, I would say.
No,
pretty
he's in it to fight the powers that be. He's like a vigilante. He's our Batman. He's not just a gambler. And if you donate,
he is
I mean, who's donating to that? Like, that's so crazy to me. Like, holy crap, donate to me, man. What the fuck? Yeah, so I mean, really, like, we talked about this double top last week. We got that nuke throughout the weekend. And then we're just kind of bouncing back now. Like, as you can see, we got some moving averages here. We got the 30 SMA, which is the purple line, and then we got the 13 EMA, which is the orange. And as you can see, it's a bit of a tight squeeze here. So it's anyone's bet, really. If we break below that purple 30 SMA, then obviously we will probably head down lower. If we can break above, then, that's going to act as support, and we can maybe perhaps try to come back up against these previous highs. But as of this moment, like, we're pretty much in a range, right? We got the bottom of the range here now. We have the top of the range here. And so this is kind of like the window we're looking at. Depending on if price does start continuing down, well, then that means we probably just have to move the range down a little bit further down, probably closer to that low. So realistically, this is kind of like our window of what I'm looking at for price action. Don't really see like any bullish breakouts, really. We just had kind of a more of a dead cat bounce kind of. And as you can see, we're still pretty far away from those 38.2s for stop levels, which I do think that's like the ultimate low for me personally, where I want to be trying to look for some heavy longs. But again, if we do start printing out some kind of, W's here, then, we might have some chances to come back up against these previous highs, right? Momentum-wise, we're in the face of a massive bear div. We were quite overbought. And now, the thing is, like, we are getting these, indicators to reset. So that's a good sign. And again, if MACD starts, forming some kind of divergence, then also that would be a bonus. As of right now, there's really nothing. We're still just kind of playing off of that bearish momentum, as well as the bearish breakdown from that double top. So I think really, like, maybe this is just a retest of that original breakout. So we come back, retest. If we fail, then we'll probably head down lower. If we can reclaim and go higher, all the better. But as of right now, I think we're just kind of stuck in this little range here. And then we're in this really tight squeeze of these moving averages. So depending on which way it goes, that'll probably dictate the direction for the next while. Ethereum looked a lot better. We had a nice consolidation, a nice bounce off of that 13 EMA, and we are still trying to get to that W there, right? So if this can break back up and we get these nice little W's confirming, then I do feel a little bit more bullish for Ethereum, and then obviously with the altcoins. But again, same thing with Bitcoin. We are in the face of a bearish divergence. We were quite overbought. Not quite a double top here, so that's kind of a nice. But if we do continue to fail, and then we do get that double top eventually, then obviously that's not a good sign. So right now, we're probably stuck in this little range here. We got the 13 EMA as support. We got 200 SMA as resistance right up here. So again, just like on Bitcoin, we're just going to be probably just bouncing back and forth for a little bit here. Probably waiting on some kind of big macro catalyst or some tariff news or who knows, right? Until then, prices are probably just going to be a bit mellow, just kind of going back and forth here for a little while. Equity is also looking a little bit heavy, but I do like this potential, double bottom that could be coming in here as well. So, we were looking at maybe a potential double top here, but if we're lucky, this price can come back up and we get that nice double bottom. And then we can head back against these previous highs. And then obviously if equities do well, crypto usually follows suit. But if that does start breaking down further, then we might be a little bit trouble. So what I noticed is the US actually stepped in with some buys yesterday. Not really sure why. There wasn't really any big news or anything. Powell had his talk, but it was pretty much nothing. So maybe, we still have rest of the week, and prices have been pretty rangy, as you can see, up, down, just in these tight consolidations. So I think we're just really in a ranging market state right now. Even looking at alt indexes, we finally have that first leg up. But until we start getting those W's, right, it's hard to call this any kind of bottom or recovery. I think this is just the natural progression of once you get a bit of sell-off, you get a little bit of a dead cat bounce, and then you either continue back lower or whatnot. So not overly bullish here at the moment still, but it was nice to see some, pause in the selling pressure yesterday. But I think maybe today, if we do start breaking down again further, then obviously probably have to chill out. For the most part, alts are just ranging as well. We might be potentially trying to put in some kind of W's, but until I start seeing those, I think we're really just stuck.
So what do you think? We've kind of gone back and forth on different predictions the last few weeks. Kind of, to me, looking like we're gearing up for a very well. I mean, if you're a trader, sideways chop. You can make all there's plenty of opportunities to trade. But I think for the rest of us, looking to have a pretty boring summer.
I don't know. I'm still really bullish on summer. All my cycle studies point for a pretty strong up move. It's probably going to be closer to July, I'm assuming. Usually after Independence Day, there's usually a pretty big rally. So I don't know. What is that, July 4th?
Oh, come on. Like you don't know, Mr. Canadian.
We don't celebrate that. We celebrate July 1st. We celebrate the Canadian Independence Day or whatever.
Yeah, but we're noisy enough. You hear what's going on up there.
Yeah, so I'm assuming, we just kind of chill here, rebase, consolidate, and if we start forming those structures, that could lead us to that window of, up rally for that summer. Because at the end of the day, I'm still very bullish here. We are still in an uptrend. Until we start creating lower lows, lower highs, which we kind of did a little bit here, we're still in an uptrend technically, right? Until we start losing these lows, that's when you can start kind of getting worried. But this is still on an upward trajectory right now. And I think if we can start consolidating and creating a base, then that will lead us to that next level higher. And again, I think, we're getting closer and closer to some kind of pivot, especially even in alts, right? Everything is still against the bottom of the ranges here. So yeah, and in the meantime, things might look a little bit heavy. Corrections in a bull market are normal. So, pullbacks do tend to happen, even in an uptrend. And it's just a matter of when now.
So yeah, no real news that would affect the markets coming out of the FOMC yesterday. Or was it an official FOMC or was it just a Powell speech?
It was just a Fed conference celebration bullshit stuff.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Why did he have the speech? There was a lot of basically.
It was just we are awesome, we are great.
There was a lot of
to be part of the team
and shit, but nothing really happened.
Yeah, he didn't talk about anything about interest rates or like, the economy and stuff. It was mostly just like,
Okay.
we as a team are doing good or whatever. So
That's interesting. I think depending who you ask, you might get a little slightly different opinion on that. I'm trying to see when is the next FOMC meeting. We've got core CPI in next week and GDP.
Putting your thing here.
Yeah.
On trading econs. Trading econs good. But
yeah.
It's probably like later in June.
But I don't know. I feel like summer is usually not that great. Like
no, it's not.
Here.
It's usually ranging, but Jan Barometer, boys, it's giving me up market this year. So, and then in my opinion, everybody is extremely bearish for summer. So,
you're doing
good time to be bullish.
I think it's going to surprise a lot of people here.
Here we go.
Or I could be really wrong and get wrecked. So, I don't know. Who knows?
We've got the interest. No, go ahead.
I was like, just play your setups, Yeah.
No, we talked about it last week. We went on an absolutely insane run from like 75K to 112. So and that was in a little over a month. I think it was like 6 weeks. So a little cool off period is super healthy for the market to reset a bit and set us up for the next leg up.
Agreed.
We've got the interest rate decision June 19th. So we've got a little over 2 weeks for that yet. But I didn't see the speech, but from what I understood, they didn't give any indications of what's going on with that upcoming interest rate. I know there was a lot of rumors that Jay Powell was possibly going to talk about resignation yesterday. Also didn't get any hints from what I understand that he's going to be resigning anytime soon. In fact, kind of sounds like the opposite from what you're saying. He was out there patting himself on the back. So we'll see. I think it'd be pretty nuts if we get to July and again, I could see June, no rate cut, and I hope not. But if they skip June and then July also, man, I know what it's going to take for them to step in, but we shall see shortly, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of that, we did see a rally a bit yesterday on Bitcoin. Obviously, it wasn't coming off of the Powell speech. I'm not exactly sure what there wasn't any sort of one big news event to potentially spike things, but lots of bullish Bitcoin stuff in the news. Tom Lee from Fundstrats, not somebody I'm familiar with, but calling for $3 million Bitcoin on CNBC. Obviously, catchy headlines there. This is lamestream news. It's trying to create some chaos.
He was the Litecoin guy.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and his predictions are usually pretty good. Like he called the tops and bottoms of Bitcoin like the last 3 cycles.
Gotcha. Okay,
he's actually pretty smart. But the $3 million prediction is pretty wild.
I don't know, man. I think 3 million, it will not happen for a while.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I'm not sure his time frame on this, but obviously the headline is meant to catch eyes, get some speculation going. But seeing a lot of stuff in the news around Bitcoin every single week. Literally, we do these twice a week, and every Tuesday and Friday, we've got another batch of 7 or 8 headlines exactly like this. Russia's largest bank, SBER Bank, I'm not even sure how to pronounce that, launching a structured bond linked to Bitcoin. We saw, I think last Friday, we talked about Santander, the biggest bank in Spain, opening up. I think the Tuesday before that, it was JP Morgan stuff, letting JP Morgan custody assets. I saw a story, I think yesterday, the SEC representative on CNN very plainly stated, yes, it's okay for all banks now to engage in crypto activities. So these stories aren't slowing down anything. We're seeing institutional adoption at a crazy rate, and it seems like it's been like this since Trump took office in January.
No, it's been crazy. But again, I think usually when there's too much bullish news, there's going to be a correction. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but
Yeah, I look at this more as like long term.
Yeah.
Yeah, these get this kind of institutional adoption without retail being here, like that doesn't signal bear market for me.
No.
That says quite the opposite. Hong Kong's Reader Lodge, Logitech.
Logitech.
Can't read today. Sorry. Acquiring 1.5 billion Bitcoin. I mean, again, the list of companies getting into the Bitcoin game continues to get larger and larger. No news on whether they're doing spot buys or a MicroStrategy-esque purchasing plan. But again, every single time we come on here, I don't get tired of saying it. More and more institutional adoption here. $500 billion Stifle, another financial institution, now saying their advisors are going to be selling Bitcoin to clients. More institutional adoption. Also, bringing in retail. But when you're looking at big retirement planners, I think that falls in the funds category, the institutional category there.
Yeah, I mean, more bullish news, forever Bitcoin. But again, I don't know.
It seems like it's only many good news.
I don't know if you guys saw this. This was a pretty cool little graph here. If you invested $1,000 in Bitcoin 5 years ago versus gold, the S&P 500, and the Nasdaq, we'll kind of zoom out to the end here. I mean, we all, I think, understand it's going to be Bitcoin there, but Bitcoin 1,000 in 5 years into just over $12,000. Meanwhile, a little over a double up on the Nasdaq and the S&P. Gold just under a double up there. Meanwhile, a 12x on Bitcoin. I mean, that's pretty wild when you comparing traditional returns in 5 years to see a 12x on your money. That's absolutely insane.
Yeah. I mean, when do you call it a bubble?
But that's never going to happen anymore, I think. It's going to be slowly going up.
Maybe not 5, but you see it
5 years, though. It's its own time.
That's insane.
Do you see it continuing to outpace the S&P, gold, etc.?
Yeah.
Probably. But eventually it'll balance it out as like more institution players come in and take control of the markets, which they already are slowly.
Yeah, I mean, that's all the stories we've been covering today. As the higher the market cap of Bitcoin gets, the more stability we're going to see, which means there's good and bad with that. Obviously, we're not going to see another 1000x out of Bitcoin, unfortunately. But it also means less volatility, a little safer, more stable Bitcoin prices as well. So good and bad with that. One thing I did see that was interesting, while we're seeing a lot of people coming into Bitcoin, BlackRock this last week, 2 days in a row here, 420 million in outflows of BTC, 70 million in ETH inflows. So it's got people speculating that BlackRock and some of these larger funds, I know we covered the Ethereum Strategic Reserve chats last week on here. The speculation that big players are also rotating into ETH. A lot of people calling for a major alt season this summer. I don't know if I see that. ETH is still shit in the bed as far as I can tell. But I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts on this?
I mean, I like it. I mean, that's probably why ETH is looking a lot better than Bitcoin, as of this moment right now. And then it also goes along with my thesis of the summer rally, right? So if we're lucky, ETH does start outperforming, ETH BTC starts bottoming, and we do finally get that alt rally that we've all been fucking waiting for. Yeah.
I think the biggest thing here with the ETH ETFs and overall, you can actually stake ETH ETFs, which makes it more valuable. And obviously, the ETH Foundation has taken the right steps. They're cleaning out their old executives. They started doing the same thing as MicroStrategy. So yeah, I think there might be even more upside now for ETH than before. But again, ETH has been very underperforming before. Last year, it was very bad, very, very bad.
Yeah, I mean, we're still not even close to all-time highs. Bitcoin broke all-time highs multiple times now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Come on, Eve. Hurry up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how much of it is that the technology itself holding it back? Analysts or JP Morgan analysts, so take this with a grain of salt, but reporting that the recent upgrades haven't increased the network activity. And we've seen this how many times now? Ethereum rolls out, oh, we got this new blah blah blah, whatever the latest upgrade. I don't even remember what it was called. Coming out. Yeah, and everything's going to be different now, and then it comes out and everything's exactly the same.
Yeah.
It's also the
Well, there was actually some FUD around Pectra upgrade. I don't know, something about like easier exploits and stuff on your wallets, but
yeah, I forgot what that was. John, do you remember? I think we chatted about that. There was something that they put in that allowed potential hacks for wallets. So always got to be. Even the biggest chains like that, been around the longest, obviously audited the most. A lot of people working on it. Not your keys, not your crypto. Practice safe wallet handling. I guess out there, just generally be trying to be safe. But I think one of the good things that came from Pectra was you can now use any token for gas. That's great. The problem is it's still slow as hell, still congested. We saw. Was it when Bitcoin when Bitcoin dumped the other day, Ethereum fees spiked up again. Network was completely congested. And that was compared to an actual alt season, that was minuscule volume on the network, right? Like what's going to happen when we get back into freaking, typical ETH and alt craziness. Excited. Hope this is signaling an alt season for us, but, I don't know how many more cycles are going to be able to ride on the back of ETH as the leader for alts. It seems like just a broken network. They got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, and overall, they're making 100K a day on fees, and they're worth what 40 billion.
Pump that fund made more money than them last year.
Yeah, I mean that's a problem. That's a big problem.
I would say Pump Fund made the most money out of everyone this year.
Oh, I think Tether made more money than everybody combined.
Tether for sure, yeah.
But yeah, Pump Fund ain't far behind him. That was and it was the guys that found it were just some young. They were like 20-some-year-old dudes that invented that.
Young Jews.
Here's how it goes.
Now they're very rich young men.
No, I met a couple of them actually out in Token, and they're quite degenerate.
I mean, they started Pump Fund. You have to be an absolute degenerate. People are making money covering themselves in their own shit on their platform. I mean, it's about as degen as it gets.
Yeah, pretty much.
And speaking of degens, King Degen is back in the news this week after liquidating his bag of $100 million and saying he's done, he's out. James Wynn is back this week with just crazy story. Says, all right, lost everything. I'm done. Goes radio silent for what was it, a day and a half. And then he's like, nope, I'm back now. I got to fight the powers that be. Tweeted some really interesting stuff this week that instead of calling it 100 million, he called it $0.1 billion. It's not that much money. Shut the fuck up. $100 million isn't a lot of money. And I think he's asking for donations, chatting with CZ. It's been all over, but James Wynn back in the arenas apparently. Again, if you want to support the cause to fight the corruption, buy Bitcoin right now. He had an address up there earlier this week asking for donations, which he would give you a one-to-one return. So nothing.
Oh my God.
If he doesn't liquidate it.
Oh God, I hope people don't fall for it. It's like, this guy's saying 100 mil isn't a lot, but then he's begging people for money now. Come on, man. Come on.
He's
Is
fighting the
CT
powers
really
that
that
be.
retarded these days? Like, fuck, man.
He's out to fight the market maker centralized exchange cabal, and somehow
Like
he's got
doing what? Doing nothing.
he's got
Fucking
CZ
feeding them
involved in that.
fees.
You're going against like hundreds of billions of dollars at the moment. So good luck with that.
Yeah.
Dude. Yeah. So I mean, market goes up, market goes down, but crypto Twitter is never a boring place to be.
No.
Regardless of the rugs, there's always something going on there. I don't know how close you guys been following that, but how did he lose the 100? Because it was like he was kicking ass, and then all of a sudden, like last week, he just like it was liquidated, gone, all of it.
I don't think he was a good trader to begin with. I think he just got really lucky on a few good trades, and he was doing massive size. And then what happens is once you get too public on Twitter, everyone's going to start hunting you, right? Market makers are incentivized to, take the opposite trades. And the guy is quite a degenerate. He was top blasting levels and being like, I'm the best. And that's usually what happens to 90% of the traders out there, especially if you're trading perps. Like only like 10% of the people in the world actually make money. Like that's a very small number.
Trading the amount of size he was and being as loud as he is, I got to imagine it's just not a good idea.
No, terrible idea. Like the worst idea you could do. And like once you're up 100 mil, just fucking like walk away, man. Like what are you doing?
That's so much money, man. That's so much money.
That's generational wealth that you fucking threw away for what, clout?
Yeah. He's back. I mean, obviously he's got deep pockets, so
he's a gambler. It's in your blood to never give up. You're one win away from, breaking it through.
Away, baby. Well, speaking of other gambles and getting liquidated in the markets, Laudio came to a predictable crashing halt after 2 days of being live. Apparently, people still haven't learned their lesson on SocialFi, which has been the most retarded sector of crypto since. They've been trying to do it every single cycle, and every single cycle it's the same thing, and it's going to continue to fail the exact same ways. I don't know who's investing in these things. I don't know who thinks it's a good idea to chuck money at new SocialFi projects. It's insane to me. But Laudio made a ton of news in the last week with their launch. How it was going to be the next friend tech, but they fixed all the problems. 2 days after they launch, everyone's like, "Oh, we're just going to bypass your liquidity pools that fund your flywheel or your sustainable ecosystem." They open their own liquidity pools on there, and now 99% of, or like something like I think he said like 80% of all the trades now are just in these other pools. So, flywheel completely broken. Lasted all of 2 days. I don't know. I every time any investor that comes to me and hands me a SocialFi deck, I just lose all respect for instantly. So.
Also for me, it's like once I start seeing all of like these KOLs start typing the shit in, I'm like, it's never gonna end well.
These SocialFi projects are just on-chain MLMs. Like that's all they are, and involving KOLs, which are like 10 times scummier than the Herbalife guys.
Yeah, but remember, Farcaster raised $120 million or something, and I think they still have like $110 million in their treasury.
Yeah, like what? But like their app has no traction. Like,
so we just make people rich, and then we sit with our shitty hands. That's what happens.
I guess.
Crypto.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll see a pivot from Farcaster, and they will shift the business into something else. But hopefully, if they don't follow a model similar to Laudio, we've seen so many of these, and it just boggles my mind that people keep chucking millions and millions of dollars at literally hundreds of millions of dollars at SocialFi projects. Thinking this is the one, guys. This is the one that's going to do it.
I mean, you don't think eventually one of them will hit? After like 1,000 of them, at least one of them might.
I think it's far more likely that Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Telegram, one of the existing social media platforms incorporates itself and becomes the SocialFi platform. I mean, Telegram and Twitter already have very good inroads to that. I don't see somebody new coming in and taking the reins from any of those guys. They're just too entrenched. They've got too much traction already. Too many users. It's familiar. I don't see any of these other companies coming in and having any sort of breakthrough.
Right.
So I agree. Yeah. I think Twitter is actually the most closest. I think I read somewhere that they just launched their own chat.
Yeah, that's coming out next week, I think.
So that's going to be interesting. And they're using Lightning Network behind it. So
yeah, from what I understand is, it's kind of bringing the best of Telegram into Twitter, encrypted messaging, video calls, voice calls, a whole host of different tools. I think it's supposed to be able to link to like your calendar and stuff. So who knows? Maybe soon instead of Google Meet meetings, we'll be taking calls on some sort of X messenger.
Yeah, that's going to be a far away.
I wouldn't hate that. I mean, if you're not aware, in this industry, nobody uses Zoom anymore. Be careful. We actually almost got caught up. We didn't almost get caught. Well, fortunately, we're aware of this, but we had an individual a known entity, but I believe they got their Telegram hacked. That was trying to get us on a Zoom scam last week. So if you're in the industry, guys, the Zoom scams are still out there. Do not ever don't use Zoom, just period. Like that's the safest thing. But if you are gonna use Zoom, don't ever click on any links for updates, for fixes, for downloads. Those are scams. They're malware. They're trying to steal your corns, your Bitcoins. So be careful out there. Stay safe, and then hopefully we see some smart guys like Elon continue to create better tech out there that we can use.
But I mean, like even on X, like everyone are getting hacked constantly, and despite they have all the 2FAs, all the security measurements, somehow they get hacked. So there must be something. I don't know.
Like Hyperliquid's account got hacked like what, 3 times already?
Yeah, so I mean, there must be insiders either on X and Twitter that are doing this, or there's something else.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Very weird.
Be careful what you do out there. The scams are getting more and more complicated. In Crypto Paradise, we had somebody trying to scam us, like pretty complex. Like got on multiple calls with this guy. He tried introducing us for like referral, like other people that we could talk to that knew him. But when we came down to the end of the day, like he made up some excuse of like why he couldn't message us from his X page, and had like videos that were very convincing of stuff. And so, yeah, be careful out there, guys. These scammers get more and more sophisticated. AI is enabling them to do insane shit with video, with So I don't know. We need some account abstraction stuff. Like that was supposed to be like the hot thing. In like 21, 22, and here we are 3-4 years later. We're still waiting on that. So let's go, guys. Get that. Let's go. ZK proofs. We need this shit. Get on the ball
Pick up
here.
the pace.
Yeah. We don't want to. We're tired of getting scammed. Like, although that's something that's interesting is like the more digital we go, the more advanced technology goes. It's almost like in-person, face-to-face stuff is becoming that much more important now because of how complex these scams are getting.
Oh, just wait when we have robotics and you can copy paste yourself.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah. Well, I think that's also they've talked about. I can't remember what they call it. The experience economy. I think. The value of like in-person, face-to-face, actual things like these crypto conferences. I think those are going to become even more popular because people are going to want something that's offline to get some sort of new experiences, and also meeting someone face-to-face and actually exchanging. Contacts might become one of the only safe ways to do it.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
What else do we have?
I that's about it. I mean, I've got a few more Bitcoin stories. More people buying Bitcoin. Michael Saylor, MicroStrategy announcing their IPO to raise more money to buy more Bitcoin so they can leverage it to buy more Bitcoin.
Oh my God, no.
Buy more Bitcoin.
No.
So
we don't need more leverage. You don't need more leverage.
So yeah. So that, I mean, I don't know if it's bullish or bearish. I think bullish short term, long term could be troublesome. Tether and Bitfinex sent 2.7 billion to Jack Mallers, 21 Capital as part of the pre-funding for their Bitcoin treasury. I believed they have another 1.3. They said they were going to do 4 billion, something like that. So that's coming to fruition. Bank of America bullish on Bitcoin, bearish on the US dollar, telling people to buy Bitcoin and gold. So a lot of stories like that, kind of par for the course. The tariffs have been back in the news a little bit. We saw last week Trump come out saying tariffs are going back on for China because China's being misbehaving or something. Now this week pausing stuff again. I don't know what's going on. It's hard to keep track of. It's exhausting. I think it's having less and less of an effect on the market. The more times we hear tariffs in the news, the less impact it has. I think the big thing right now that is very concerning is the conflict with Russia and Ukraine. We were pretty stoked 2 weeks ago talking about peace deals that were being orchestrated, and now apparently that's completely off the table. The kind of negotiations are falling apart. Ukraine tried to assassinate Putin last week. Not good. So that I think is the biggest kind of factor out there. We could be looking at a black swan event from is this war escalating or the ceasefire talks completely falling apart. So but yeah, other than that, it's a waiting game, waiting on the tariffs, waiting on Fed cuts, waiting on money printing, praying the war doesn't escalate, and we don't replay Terminator.
I think the escalation between Ukraine and Russia is just the start. I think China and the US is preparing for something. Let's see. I hope there's going to be a bullish summer, but I'm not hopeful.
Yeah, only time will tell at this point.
Yawn out here.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Well, one thing I've seen, actually, a couple different guys that I follow for TA and overall market macros was the Golden Cross story. Bitcoin got a Golden Cross recently, obviously a bullish sign, but historically, I think it's on the weekly is where the bullish cross hit. Actually, for the last history. I don't remember what it was, like 7 out of 8 times. We typically get a 10 to 50% dip for a few weeks before then ranging. And according to Calciasi, for 50 to 80 days before we then grind up and move on to new all-time highs. Each time it did return, very bullish results. But those results came delayed anywhere from, a month and a half to 2 months out. So I don't know. That could point to a side, not necessarily bearish, but kind of sideways, boring summer. But at the same time, I'm not a TA guy. I talk out my ass and regurgitate what I see on crypto Twitter. So take it for what you will.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not bullish.
We'll get there. I think more patience.
Yeah,
not what people want to hear, but it's the reality.
Just follow the charts, man. It's hard to predict this shit. Just
keep
go
DCA.
day by day, watch the charts, and that's it. That's the best thing you can do.
Keep stacking them Bitcoins.
Yeah, DCA is the best strategy overall, despite all this craziness. Don't do leverage. We saw what happened with James Wynn.
Or do.
If you do and you make money, just get the fuck out and take that fucking cash.
Go to Bahamas, enjoy it.
Yeah, go retire, man.
All right, I think we are at 40-minute mark.
Yeah, it's a good little jam session here.
No, this is good.
Yeah, we all got work left to do here yet today. It's probably good to wrap it up there. If you are out in the Southeast Asia region and you happen to be coming to the Solana conference in Da Nang, that's this week here, and you'd like to learn more about mergers and acquisitions, OTC, any sort of help with anything post-launch fundraising, myself and Andrew will be around. Feel free to reach out on Telegram or on Twitter. hit us up, and we can grab a drink or grab a coffee later this week.
This is good, guys. Thanks. Please like and share, subscribe, and see you next week.
Hey guys.